Hello everyone, this is Dr. B. Welcome to Making WASSCE Easy, an initiative of 3B Global Tutors. This is Lecture 3, Basic Operations of Fractions. You're going to see a lot of fractions operations in your WASSCE exam, so it's important for you to know how to manipulate fractions. And so we're going to do a lot of that today. We'll look at the rules and then we'll look at some past exam questions, okay? So, basic operations of fractions. Well, a good place to start is fractions themselves. Fractions are really part of a whole number, okay? They're really part of a whole number. So examples of fractions are like 2 over 3, 5 over 6, 7 over 8, and so on. All right, these are called proper fractions, okay? We can also have mixed fractions where we have a whole number, say 2, and then you have a proper fraction attached to it. So 2 1/2 or 3 4/5 and so on. So these are called mixed fraction. Another way you can call it is improper fractions, okay? So those are examples of fractions. You would see a lot of them in your WASSCE. The question then becomes, how do you operate on them? So let's look at basic operations. So what do we mean by basic operations? Well, basic operations are really your addition, subtraction, multiplication, and divisions. Okay, how do we perform this? The easiest of them to do is multiplication. So let's go ahead and look at multiplication. The rule for multiplication says if you have A divided by B multiplied by C over D, you can simply multiply through. It becomes A times C, or divided by B times D, okay? So let's look at an example. An example here becomes 2 over 3, okay, multiplied by 1 over 4. If we use the rule, it's 2 times 1 divided by 3 times 4. So that's 2 divided by 12. Now, we can also simplify this quantity because 12 is a multiple of 2. So you can see that 2, you can divide through with 2. 2 divided 2 is 1. 2 divided 12 is 6. So your final answer here is 1 over 6. So you've reduced that quantity to 1 over 6. Okay. Let's look at division. Division is probably the second simplest operation. Here the rule says if you have A over B divided by C over D, you must change it into multiplication, and the way you do that is you say A over B multiplied by, now you flip D over C, and we know the rule for multiplication over here, so it becomes A times D, okay, B times C, okay. Another way you can see this written out is for them to say I shouldn't put an arrow there. Another way you can see them write this out is A over B divided by C over D. Okay, let me switch the screen so we so I can write that out properly. Another way to see it is if they say A over B divided by C over D, they can also write this as A over B divided C over D. Okay, so this is still the same as A times D, okay, B times C. Okay, let's look at an example. We take our old example, is 2 over 3, all right, divided by 1 over 4. So if you follow the rule, it's 2 over 3 multiplied by 4 over 1, and we can simply multiply out, we get 8 over 3, okay? And so we'll leave our answer that way. Alright, let's look at addition and subtraction, and I'm going to just combine both of them because they follow the same rule. The rule here says A over C plus, and I'll say or minus, B over C is equals to C, A plus or minus B. So you can see the difference. We call this number below denominator, okay? This is your denominator, and the top numbers would be your numerator, okay? Now your denominator must be the same in order for you to add or subtract your numerator, okay? So that is the trick. Your denominator must be the same. So let's look at an example. All right, we'll follow through with our example 2 over 3. All right, let's start with the plus 1 over 4. Unfortunately here we can't just add 2 plus 1 because our denominator is not the same. So the way we do it is we find something called lowest common multiple, okay? And our lowest common multiple here can simply be done by multiplying these two numbers, okay? So you see it's 12, or we can just simply say 1 multiplied by 2 over 3 plus 1 multiplied by 1 over 4, right? Because any number multiplied by 1 is still that number. Then we replace 1 in this case with 4 over 4. So 4 divided by 4 multiplied by 2 over 3. So you can see 4 divided by 4 is just 1. All right. Plus 3 over 3. All right. So this 1 is right there. Multiplied by 1 over 4. Okay. So finally we get 8. 4 times 2 is 8. Divided by 12 plus 3 divided by 12. Now they are the same denominator, 12 and 12. We can simply say 8 plus 3 over 12, which is 11 over 12. Final answer. Okay. Let's look at the subtraction. Is the subtraction gonna be any different? Not really. So if we continue with our example again, so 2 over 3 minus 1 over 4, we've simplified it, and we've seen that if we do 4 divided by 4 multiplied by 2 over 3 minus 3 divided by 3 multiplied by 1 over 4, all right, we've seen that it's going to be 12 on the bottom, and we've seen it's going to be 8 minus 3. So final answer is 5 over 12. Okay, 5 over 12. One last thing we should discuss before we look at past question is how do we go from mixed to proper fractions, or vice versa. Okay, how do we go from mixed to proper fraction or proper fraction to mixed fraction? Let's look at an example. Let's take 2 1 over 4. Okay, 2 1 over 4. The representation for 2 1 over 4 in proper fraction is to take that 2, all right. Let me put it this way. Blow it all out, and you multiply here, and you add. Okay, so it becomes 2 times 4 plus 1, all divided by 4. So you can see that that is 9 over 4. So 2 1 over 4 is the same thing as 9 over 4. Right, and you can see why that is the case, because 9 over 4, 4 divided by 9 is 2, because 4 divided by 8 is 2, and the remainder is just 1, right? And then you put the 4, right? So this 1 is just your remainder. All right, that's all it is. It is just your remainder of your division. All right, so let's look at past questions. Okay, let's look at past questions. What has come out in the past. a good place to start is this question that says, it says simplify. All right, the question says simplify 6 1/3 minus 2 3/4 plus 1/6. The best way to start this process is to convert everything into proper fractions. Okay, convert everything into proper fractions. So let's go through the process of converting it into proper fractions. So we know now that this is 3 times 6, it's 18 plus 1, so that's 19/3, minus 2 times 4 plus 3 is 11/4, plus 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7/6. All right, so we're dealing with addition and subtraction here. The rule says all our denominators must be the same. So we need to look for a number such that it goes through 3, 4, and 6. And if you investigate these numbers very well, you would see that our LCM, all right, is 12. Okay, you see 3 goes into 12, 4 goes into 12, and 6 goes into 12. So we need to multiply each fractions by 1 that equates the denominator to 12. So we can see that the 19/3 must be multiplied by 4/4 minus 11/4 must be multiplied by 3/3, 11/4 plus, and 6 must be multiplied by 2/2. All right, 7/6. All right, so that our bottom part will all be 12. Okay, so we can see that our bottom part is 12. So 4 times 19 becomes 76 minus 33 plus 14. Okay, if you do the addition and subtraction, you would get 57/12. All right, sometimes your answer might not be in this format. If they wanted you to get it into mixed fractions, you simply divide through 12 divided into 57, you would get 4, all right, which is 48, and then your remainder would be 9/12. All right, but you can break 9/12 down. You can see that there's a multiple there, so you can reduce that down. If you reduce that down, you get 4 3/4. Final answer. All right, let's look at one last example and we will round up. Another past question. In this case, they didn't use numbers, they used letters. So this is something you have to watch out for also. It says 3 divided by x, there is a parenthesis, 3 divided by x minus 15 divided by 2y, and then it says divided by 6xy. Okay, so we need to figure out what is in this parenthesis first of all. To figure out the parenthesis part, we need to find our LCM. In this case, it's just good to just multiply through. So we get 2xy, all right, as our LCM. You see that the only missing quantity here is 2y. So if I multiply this by 2y, and I multiply this by x and x, you can see now I get 2xy. So 3 times 2y is just 6y minus 15 times x is 15x. We can simplify this further by pulling out a 3. So if I pull out a 3, I get 2y minus 5x, okay, over 2xy. divided by, we still need to bring this quantity right here, we need to bring it over here, divided by 6xy. All right, now we use our division rule. In order for us to divide, we change this to multiplication, so it becomes 3 2y minus 5x over 2xy multiplied by xy over 6. xy's can cancel each other, 3 can cancel 6, and your final answer would be 2y minus 5x over 2. Alright, that is it. Visit our website 3bgtutors.com. Leave a comment or suggestion on what you want to see and how we can make this better for you. Thank you.